Hi, welcome to my video on extra word problems number 3 in exponential functions, and this one is finding rate. Find the rate when the base is given. Recall, 0 less than b less than 1 is the basis between 0 and 1. We have a decay curve. And because we have the base between 0 and 1 and the decay curve, that means the base is equal to 1 minus the rate, and the base is greater than 1, we have a growth curve. And that means the base is 1 plus the rate. So classify as a growth or the decay or growth when the base is. So if the base is 1.2, that means the base is greater than 1, so we have a growth. The base is 0.4. That means the base is between 0 and 1. So that means we have a decay. And 17% is 0.17. The decimal moves from there 2 places to the left. And that number is between 0 and 1. So that means we have a decay. 2, the base is greater than 1. So we have a growth. Now, find a rate for each base. We can pause the video and work each of these out if you wish. So the base is 0.6. That means it's between 0 and 1. So that means the base is equal to 1 minus r. So the base is decimal 0.6 equals 1 minus the rate. So we move the rate to the left, make it positive. Move the 0.6 to the right and make it negative. So the rate is 1 subtract 0.6 is decimal 4. So that means the rate is 40%. So when we change the decimal to a percent, we move it 2 places to the right. And we have the base is 1.7, so that means it's greater than 1. So that means it's a growth, so it's 1 plus r. So 1.7 equals 1 plus the rate, and 1.7 minus 1 is equal to the rate. So the rate is 1.7 minus 1 is decimal 7. So the rate is 70% because the decimal moves 2 places to the right. And then C, we have a base of 2.3, so that means the base is greater than 1. We have a growth, so the base is 1 plus the rate. So 2.3 equals 1 plus r. Leave the r on the right side. 2.1 minus 1, so the rate is 2.3 minus 1 is 1.3. So that means the rate is going to be 130%. Again, the decimal moves 2 places to the right. And decimal 85, that means 0 is less than b is less than 1. So that means it's a decay. So the base is 1 minus r. Base, decimal 85, 1 minus r. Move the r to the left, positive. Move the decimal 85 to the right, make it negative. So the rate is 0.15, and so the rate as a percent is 15% because it moves 2 places to the right. A little bit of practice on finding the rate. Now let's look at some equations where we have to find the rate. Here we go. Find the rate of each. So notice the base is 1.23 because this equation is y equals a b to the x. So the base is 1.3. That means the base is a growth. So the base is equal to 1 plus the rate. So the base is 1.23 equals 1 plus the rate. So the rate is 1.23 minus 1. So the rate is 0.23, and that makes it 23%. And again, we have a base here, and the base in this equation is 0.61. And That's between 0 and 1, so the base is equal to 1 minus the rate. So 0.61 equals 1 minus the rate. Move the rate to the left. Move the 0.61 to the right. And we have 0.39. So that means the rate is 39%. Okay, let's continue. And now it says solve for b. So we have b to the 4 equals 81. So because it's the fourth power, if I do the 1/4 power of each side, so 4 times 1/4 is b, is a 1 power, and this is 81 is 3 to the 4th to the 1/4 power, and we multiply power of a power, they cancel out, so b equals 3 to the 1 or 3. And you can also think about this as being the fourth root of 81. And the fourth root of 81 is 3 to the 4, so it's 3 to the 4 over 4, which is 3 to the 1. So this changes radical to an exponent, so that's a 1, so that's b to the 1 over 3. So because that's as a cube root, so cube root is 1/3, we will cube both sides of the equation. So 1/3 times 3 is 1, and 2 cubed is 8. So the cube root of 8 is 2. Makes sense. Now we're going to do c. Don't forget, you can pause your video. We want to isolate the base, so we'll divide by 100. So that means b to the 5 equals 6.4. That means we're going to do the reciprocal power of each of these. So reciprocal of 5 is 1/5. 5 to the 1/5 power cancels out to give us b to the 1. So we have 6.4 to the 1/5. And that means we have b is equal to the 1/5. We have, that's 1.4495, or to the closest is 1.45. And just to show you that on a calculator, how that works, just to make sure, let me bring the calculator here, let me make sure it's on. So move this up. So we have 6.4 power button, and we could go 1/5 or we could go 0.2. Let me go 1/5 first. But if I go 1/5, I got to go bracket 1 division 5 bracket. So that's enclosed in a bracket. So that's 1/5, which is 0.2. And so that gives me, as you can see, 1.4495. So I rounded it off to 1.45. And you could also go 6.4 power button, and 1/5 is decimal 2, or 0.2, and you'll get the same answer. So either or. Okay, let's continue. Move this back down into right spot. Right. Now, if each represents an exponential function, find the rate. So we're going to solve this for the b and then find the rate. So now we're putting it all together. So that's 1/3. So that's a cube, so we do 1/3 power of each side. So 3 times 1/3 is 1. So 12 to the 1/3. Again, I'm going to use my calculator and show you that 12, here we go, 12 power. So I'm going to put the 1/3 in. Now 1/3 is decimal 3333333. But if I put a bracket and go 1 division 3, so there's, I could do decimal 333, but how many decimals do you put in? So I put the 1/3 in, I get 2.2894. That's 2.894. So if you round that off, we'll round it off after, because we want it to the nearest percent. So that's a growth, so b is equal to 1 plus the rate. So 2.2894 equals 1 plus r, So R is 2.2894, subtract 1 is a 1. So R is equal to 1.2894. And so that's the rate is 100, and to the nearest, that's 129% to the nearest percent, the rate of increase. So let's do the fifth root of b cubed equals 0.6. So that's b to the 3 over 5. Again, your power of b is your numerator and your radical is 5, so it was on the bottom. So we got that down. So that's 3/5, so we'll raise it to the 5 over 3. So we raise it to the 5 over 3 power. So 3 over 5 times 5 over 3 is 1. So that's b to the 1. So let's take 1/6 of 5 divided by 3 as a power. So let's look at it. Here we go. So we got 0.6, power button, put it in a bracket, 5 division 3, and I get 4.268. So 0.4268 if we go to 4 decimal places. So move that here, move this back down. Okay, keep it all straight. So that's a decay. So b is equal to 1 minus r. So 0.4268 equals 1 minus r. Move the r to the left to make it positive, and 0.4268. So when we subtract, we get a 0.4268. So when we subtract, we get a 5.732. And that means the rate to the nearest percent is 57. Again, just practicing solving these out. Hopefully you understand. I use the power as a fraction and do the reciprocal of that on each side. Now let's do some word problems related to finding the rate. A house bought for $60,000 in 2008 was sold for $104,000 in 2020. What was the annual constant rate of increase to the nearest percent? Well, what we have is we have the initial amount, which was 60,000, and we have what it was. We bought it for that and sold it for that, so 104,000 was big A, and the time it is 2022. Subtract 2008, that gives us 14 years, and this is happening each year. It's an increase of a certain percent each year, so C is 1. So A equals small a, and we could go with B first and raise it to the T over C. So that's 100, 104,000, and A, small a is 60,000, and we're looking for the base, and T is 14 years divided by 1, so it's 104,000 divided by 60,000. So that gives us, divided by 60,000 equals B to the 14. So what we can do is raise that to the 1/4 power. So I'll write down again just to keep the right space there, so we won't make it all confused. So we'll do, that's 14, so we do 1 over 14 on each side. So 1 over 14. So that makes B to the 1 right here. Now, we enter this in a calculator. Enter this in a calculator, because one time you didn't have a calculator. You had to divide 104,000 by 60,000 and then do the 14th root. But right now we can do all this the one time. And here's how we do it. Here's how I do it. I go bracket. I go, it's a 104,000 division 60,000. And do a power button. And then I'll do the power of 1 over 14. Again, I do the brackets on the power. So I go bracket 1 division 14 and close it off. So notice 1 over 14 is the power of this division, and we get 1.0407. So that comes out to be 1.04 is the base, and this base is greater than 1, so the base is equal to 1 plus the rate. So the base is 1.04, 1 plus r. So r equals 1 minus 1.04. So the rate is 0.04. So the rate each year is 4% to the nearest percent. So hopefully everything is going well. So now let's try one more problem. This one is on. Don't forget to pause the video and do it before me. A stock price declines from 42.50 to 24.02 in 25 days. If the stock declines at a constant daily rate, what is the price after 40 days? Well, we don't know the rate, so what we need to do is look at A equals small a base and T over C. So this is the price, the initial price is 42.50. This is what it's going to after a certain period of time is 24.02, and the time is 25 days, and this is happening daily, so C is 1. So if you plug that in, you will get what it's end up to be 24.02. The initial is 42.50, and it's B equals 25 over 1. So now, if you want, you divide by 42.50 on each side. So that gives you 40 or 24.2 divided by, and that cancels, and I get B to the 25. So B to the 25, I'll do the reciprocal power, which is 1 over 25. And I'll do the reciprocal power here, which is 1 over 25. So if I enter this in, they cancel out to give me B to the 1. So if I take this amount, which is what I'm going to do here now, I'm going to show it to you. Take this amount and enter it into my calculator. So I have bracket 24.02 division 42.5, close it off. I'm going to raise it to a power, and because I raised it to a power, I'm going to put 1 division 25 in the bracket. Remember, if you put just 1, if you don't put this bracket here, right here, it will raise this to the 1 power and then do dividing it by 25. So if you don't put that in bracket here and here, it won't do it right. And so we hit enter, and we get, now we have a choice. We got decimal 9774. So if you go decimal 977, now the more decimal places you put onto here, the more accurate it's going to be. So if you went a 4 and a 3, etc., then the more decimal places you put in, the more accurate your answer is going to be. But let's take 0.977. So that's the base. So we have to take that base and work it out again. So this is T over C. So if we started with 42.50. Now the base is 0.977, and we raise it to for 40 days, and how much each day. So it's 4,250, 0.977 to the 40. So if you enter that in your calculator, then you'll come up with, well, let's put it in and see what we're going to get. There we go. Make sure my calculator is in the right position. Okay, clear it. So I get 42.5, go 50, bracket, decimal, 977, bracket, raise it to a power, and the power is 40 days. And I get 16.756. So it's, and it says to the nearest cent, so 16.76 is the value of the stock after 40 days. So notice in this problem, bring this down, sorry about moving this around, but I just want to keep everything in line. Notice that I had to go and work it out for the 25 days to get what the base is, and then that base is going to follow through for the 40 days. It's because it's the same daily rate. So the daily rate, I didn't need, this is the base for each day, and I didn't need to find what the actual rate was, because the rate would have been the difference from 1 on this, which is 0.023, but I didn't need that because this is the base I got to put back in here to work it out for 40 days. So there's a few extra problems on finding the rate, which you also do. So we've done many different types of problems, and again, just a variation of the different types. And if you like my video, click the like button. If you're not a subscriber, click the subscribe button. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content that I have on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video helped you. Bye-bye.